Active listening skill. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Putri Zhafira Zahra. I want to presentation my active listening skill mid-test. The first thing is direction. A. Retell all audios provided in the Google Drive by using your own words. B. Record the video of yours and upload on YouTube platform. C. YouTube link must be submitted on my best. D. In the video, you must show your full face. Subtitle of the text must be inserted in the video. For this option D, I use PowerPoint. E. This project is due before mid-test. F. The audios can be retrieved through the following link. Okay, we start by part 1. At one time, Todd was curious why Zahra would often eat soup at work every day, and her responses was simple. It's because Zahra loved how easy it is to cook soup. Then Todd asks what's her secret behind making a soup. Then Zahra starts to share how to make it. First of all, she buys the ingredients she needs, like chicken meat that's already cut into pieces, brown rice, and vegetables. Second, she then cooks them all together and put them into the boiling water so that they will cook much faster. She adds some seasonings like salt, pepper, garlic, or some soy sauce and lemon juice at the same time to make the soup more flavorful. After that, she pours it into a bowl or put it in the refrigerator once it's set outside for a while until it's about room temperature. Zahra then told Todd that he could heat it up with a microwave because it's easier that way. Then Todd asks if Zahra could give him a bowl of soup someday if she makes more next time around. Next, part 2. Rene's friend asks a girl named Jennifer on a date, and one day he called Rene. He asks where the movie theater was downtown. Before Rene's friend finished the question, he asked again if the cinema was close to the hospital. To make sure he wasn't mistaken, yes, Rene confirmed his friend's answer. But Rene didn't know that his friend was asking for a date with Jennifer. Therefore, Rene asked to fulfill her curiosity, why did his friend ask where the movie theater was downtown? Rene's friend also explained that last Monday he asked Jennifer to date, and it would be on Saturday night. Rene would hear it was surprised and happy. It turned out that this friend has often met with Jennifer. She also confided her happiness. Sounds good. Finally, Rene explained in detail the location and position of the movie theater so that her friend did not get lost. Rene also taught her friend to write down what she was going to say. First, Rene started to explain the location of the theater. Rene said drive down First Street, then head west and cross the river. After that, continue straight until Pine Street. To make sure that what Rene's friend heard was true, Rene's friend asked, until Pine Street right? Rene's answer was right. Rene continued her explanation. Turn left and the theater is in the second building on the right, which is also next to the church. Again, Rene's friend made sure that the movie theater position was in the second building, and that it was on the right. Rene's friend said it loudly so that Rene could hear that he understood what Rene was explaining. Now, Rene's friend again asked a different question. Can Rene recommend a good restaurant? Maybe Rene knows where a good restaurant is for her date with Jennifer. Turns out it was true that Rene knew where a good restaurant was. Rene said, Pink Flamingo Restaurant served great Spanish food. Her friend also asked where it was. Rene explained it. From the theater, go south to Pine Street, then cross 2nd Street and drive to 3rd Street. And on the left side of the road there will be a parking lot. Then turn left on 3rd and drive east. Pink Flamingo is in the building just before the river on the left side. Rena also explained that she knows that restaurant is open 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. Rene also said the restaurant is open till midnight on weekend. Rene's friend also understood Rene's explanation about the restaurant and said that he will be there before going to the movie theater. And the last thing that Rene's friend asks is where can he buy flowers to celebrate Jennifer's birthday? The place that sells flowers that Rene knows is just in front of the stadium on 2nd Street. Try that one, Rene replied. After many questions were asked, Rene's friend also thanked Rene very much for explaining many things to his. Next, part 3. There is an interesting story of a sparrow. This story starts from a shepherd dog who suffers from hunger because his master doesn't take care of him. The dog runs away from his house because he can't see his master anymore. The dog lives with a very sad heart. On the way, the dog met a sparrow. The sparrow was curious about what had happened to the dog. The dog explained about his master. The dog also said that he was very hungry and had nothing to eat. Finally, the sparrow took the dog to the city to find food. The sparrow said that he would find the dog to eat in the city. When they got to town, they found the first shop, a butcher shop, and the sparrow told the dog to wait for him until he could drop a piece of meat for him. Not long after that, a piece of meat fell from the edge of the shelf, and the dog rushed to take it to another place so he could eat it immediately. The dog ate it very voraciously. He was really very hungry. After finished with the meat, the sparrows returned to invite the dog. If he wanted to get more, he could go with the sparrows. The dog agreed and returned to follow the sparrows. The second shop they went to was also a butcher shop. So the sparrow did the same thing as before. When the dog finished eating with his second stick, the sparrow again asked if the dog was satisfied with what he had given. The dog replied that he wanted a piece of bread. The sparrow kindly took the dog back to the following shop. The last shop they visited was a bakery. As the dog wanted, the sparrow took 2 rolls of bread that were near the shop window until they fell and could be picked up by the dog. Finished with the bread, it turns out the dog still wants more bread for him. The sparrow broke and picked more bread for the dog. After finishing with all the bread, the sparrow again asked if the dog was full of all the food he gave. The dog replied that he had enough with the food the sparrow gave him. Now they are walking a little way out of town. The dog said that he wants to rest. He's quite tired of walking around the city looking for food, and now all the dog needs is just a little nap. The sparrow agreed. While the dog was taking a nap, the sparrow was busy catching the bush. And while the dog was fast asleep, there came a cart drawn by 3 horses filled with 2 barrels of wine. The sparrow saw that the cart had deviated from the road and was going into the path where the dog was sleeping. The sparrow shouted to the cartman to stop. "Stop! Please, Mr. Carter, stop, or it will be bad for you." The cartman who heard it just grumbled to himself and said that the sparrow meant him bad for the cartman. "What can a little bird like you do?" continued the cartman. The drive continued to run the cart until it hit the sleeping dog to death. "You cruel criminal! You have killed my friend dog. Now listen to what I have to say. This death of yours will cost you all the things that are precious to you." A warning given by the sparrow. The cartman replied rudely, "Do you want to do what to do?" As if he didn't care about the warning given by the sparrow, he passed it. Angry with the behavior of the cartman, the sparrow crawled under the cart and picked one of the wine barrels until it had a hole, and spilled the wine in it until there was nothing left. The cartman also saw this. He was very angry with what the sparrow did. "How break it to me!" the cartman shouted, and was replied by the sparrow. Reply, "Not rich enough for you." Then the sparrow landed on one of the three horses belonging to the cartman, picked the horse until the horse kicked the cartman. After being kicked by his horse, the cartman took the hatchet with great emotion, and threw it at the sparrow. Unfortunately, instead of hitting the sparrow, the hatchet instead cut the head of the horse that was sitting on the sparrow. "Pratch, I'm really bad," shot the cartman, and the sparrow replied back with the same word as before. "Not bad enough for you." The sparrow went back under the cart and picked the remaining wine barrel, and again the barrel failed to leak and spilled all the wine in it. The cartman shouted again with the shout that was previously, "Pratch to me, I'm wretched," and again answered with the same answer by the sparrow, "Not bad enough for you." Then the sparrow landed back on the one of the horse, then made the cartman rise angry, and broke his hatchet back while running towards the sparrow. Again the same thing happened. The hatchet missed and hit the second horse. The sparrow also moved to the one remaining horse, and stupidly the cartman, he did the same to the previous two horses. "What a shame for me," said the cartman, who returned answered with the same words by the sparrow, "Not bad enough for you." The sparrow left the cartman alone with all the result of his action while saying, "I will punish you in your own house." The cartman left his cart and went home feeling angry. When the cartman got home, he also complained about everything that had happened to him on the street, that all the ashes has been spilled and their three horses has died. "I'm really unlucky," shouted the cartman. The wife told him that there was an evil bird that brought other birds to their house, and the wife was sure that the birds had gone to their attic to finish off all their corn. The husband ran to the attic, and he saw so many birds eating all his corn, and he could see the sparrow was in the midst of the many other birds. "Really unlucky me!" And after all the corn has been eaten by the other birds, the sparrow said, "Not enough harm to you," and continued to say, "Your cruelty will take your own life," and flew away from the cartman. Seeing that he was missing a lot of things, the cartman went down from the attic to his kitchen. He was angry and did not regret his action. Not long after the sparrow came and perched on his window shouting, "Carter, your cruelty will take your own life." And then Carter got angry and jumped as he took his hatchet and threw it at the sparrow, missed it, and shattered the window. The sparrow moved to the window seat and shouted the same thing. Carter became increasingly furious and blind to his anger. He hit the window seat with his hatchet and split it in two. The sparrow moved from place to place, and Carter and his wife destroyed all the furniture in their house without hurting the sparrow in the sleek teeth. And in the end, they managed to catch the sparrow, and the wife asked, "Should I kill him at once?" "No," is the husband answer. "It's too easy for him. We have to make him die horribly. Horribly. I will eat it." The sparrow's defense didn't stop there. He tried to spread his wings. Not in despair, the sparrow again shouted the same thing. Your cruelty will take your own life." With increasing anger, he asked his wife to throw the hatchet, his property, and kill the sparrow right in his hand. The wife did as she was told, threw the hatchet, and unfortunate millions of misfortunes. The wife threw shot and cut off the husband's head. The husband fell and died, while the sparrow was released and flew back to the nest. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.